Hello Year 10, I hope you're all well. I hope you've been enjoying the work you've been doing and some time at home. I'm missing you all, of course, and this can be your work for this week. It's going to be some bike maths. So you've been looking at lots of circles, and of course bikes are full of circles. So here's a wheel, and we've got some numbers on the wheel here, 700 times 35, and that's 700. That's an important number there. That tells us the diameter of the wheel. So I'm going to check that in a minute. So we have the radius, which is the distance from the centre of the circle to the circumference here. We have the diameter, which is the distance all the way across the circle, a chord going from one point on the circumference through the centre to the other side. And you will see, if I show you the measurement here, that the diameter of this wheel is 70 centimetres, which is the same as 700 millimetres, which was that number on the tyre. So if you'd like to just pause the video and have a go at seeing if you can calculate the circumference of this wheel. So that's the distance all the way around the outside of the wheel, given that you know the diameter is 70 centimetres. Here we have our wheel, and we know that the diameter is 70 centimetres. Now, you've learnt that the circumference is equal to pi times the diameter. So if you're going to work out the circumference, the distance all the way around the wheel, you need to do pi multiplied by 70. We could write that simply as 70 pi, 70 times 3.142. 219.9 centimetres. So I've worked out the circumference of the wheel. That tells me the distance right the way around the edge of the wheel. Why is that important? Well, it tells me every time the wheel turns once, it tells me how far I have travelled. Let me show you. Start here. Okay, let's rotate the wheel once. There we go, finished here. And let's check to see whether our calculation was correct. We worked out it should have been 219.9 centimetres. So let's measure it. Not bad. Unfortunately, there is a crack in this wheel. That's dangerous. We're also going to think about ratios. When you change gear, you change the ratio between the number of teeth on the front chain wheel here and the number of teeth on the cog at the back that drives the rear wheel. So at the moment, there's roughly the same number of teeth at the front here as on the back here, which means the ratio is about 1 to 1. That's a gear for going up hills. When we're cycling faster, we want the back wheel to turn faster, even though we'll be pedalling at the same speed. So we'll change gear. Okay, so now the ratio, the same number of teeth at the front here, but you see much smaller cog at the back, fewer teeth. The ratio is roughly 1 to 3. That means when I turn the pedals once, the rear wheel will spin 3 full times. When we solve a ratio problem, we usually start off by drawing a bar model. It helps us to understand what's going on and to make sense of the information in the question. Here, John and George are sharing some money in the ratio 5 to 2. For every 5 parts John gets, George gets 2 parts. And I've shown this, 5 parts for John in my bar model and 2 for George. Now if I told you that George got £60, I can show that on my diagram, that George's 2 boxes represent £60. And to work out the size of one part, I just need to divide 60 by 2. Which is 30. That then tells me that every part is worth £30. How much does John get then? Well, he has 5 parts, each of which are £30. 5 times 30, £150. So there we have it. £60 for George, 150 for John. But what about if I told you something different, a different problem? This time I'm going to tell you that John actually received £60 more than George. Well, again, I can show that using my bar model. John received 3 boxes more than George. He got 5, George got 2. So this extra part here is the part that is worth £60. Now you can see here it's worth those 3 boxes. Now division will allow me to work out the size of one box again. This time I'm splitting 60 into 3 parts, which is 20. So in this problem, each box is worth 20. I should have let that dry, shouldn't I?